Hi everyone, welcome to my Shoreline Studio. I'm Sybille Muschik. Behind the camera is Joshua Blanc. Now today we're going to do some grunt work. It's preparation for a couple of shows, which I was crazy enough to sign up for. And I want to show you about mounting gel plate prints because although I have paintings for these shows, I want to show some of my gel plate prints. And it's one way to, deal with them when you have so many piled up. So I have in front of me a little plate. This is 8 by 10, and it's 3/16, Josh. It's not door skin, it's just plywood, but it's almost as thin as that. And you can get it at your hardware stores. They will probably cut it for you. Maybe even some of the art stores will have panels of this, much bigger of course, and then you can either have them cut it down or maybe you're capable of cutting them to size yourself or a friend or hubby. My hubby does mine. Whatever, okay, so then the thing to do is to prepare them for artwork, and you want to use gesso. I have some gesso here. It's acrylic gesso. Now what I do is I add a little bit of matte medium to it, and it gives a really good surface. So here's some golden matte medium. It's translucent, low gloss acrylic extender, so good stuff. And you also use it for the gluing part. Now I have various treatments here. Gel plate prints aren't always the size that you want. You might have to crop them. Maybe they're a little bit too big and you have to crop them. Or, you might have had some rough edges and you have to crop those off, which makes them smaller than, and it's not going to fit perfectly on there. So you have to find a way to treat the outside edges. Now with this one, I have just rolled on the same colors, sort of, just a little bit darker of what's in the plate or in the print, and then let that dry, and then I glued it on there with the matte medium. And you can see the edges, and framers will tell you to leave a little bit more on the bottom than the top. It's just a visual thing, but it looks better. So that one just, I think this one is varnished too. I used matte varnish. Then when your artwork's on the wall, it doesn't shine. So that's that one. And this one, I have just placed the artwork on the gesso, and I have taped off with Gorilla Tape. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, any good, this is, what's this called, Josh?
Frog tape.
Frog tape, not Gorilla Tape, sorry. All right, so, and I've just taped it because it's a very tiny edge, and then just painted good white paint around the outside edge. And it works because there's a lot of little white spaces in, and then good painter's tape won't take your artwork off. And it's a good idea if before you do that you have put another layer of matte medium on here, or even your final varnish, so that when you lift the tape up, nothing else comes with it. And then you just paint it and it looks really good. So the other thing we have to do is put some fasteners on the back, and we'll demonstrate that later on. This one is now you can also mount them on these boards, just art boards. Make sure they're good quality art boards. These are cardboard with gesso. They've been treated already, and they're good for this kind of thing. It's not a canvas, because if you mount something to a canvas, it's a good idea to have a board behind the canvas so that everything is flat. Otherwise, you're going to get buckling when you glue it down. So this one, I've just treated the outside edge with paint that's the same color as the cat. And this was a crackle paste, and it's in way back in some of our early videos. So that's that one. So I want to show you how to measure everything up. Like they say, you know, measure twice and cut once. So, and measuring in me, you know, it's a challenge, but I usually try and conquer that. So what I do is I use, well, you can figure it out mathematically, of course, 10 inches, and you know, the half of it is 5. So I've put that on my plate. But this happens to be 9.5, so you've got 0.5 of a margin, and so it's a 1/4 inch all around. Okay. So then I've measured that off. Now, if you have a piece that is like a really odd size and trying to find the half of that is almost impossible, there's a tricky way of doing this. And what you do is you get a piece of paper like this, and you mark, let's get this off the plate so that you can see it better. Okay, so here's the edge of the paper, and I've just marked it. So what you do then is you very carefully line it up with that mark, squeeze it shut, and now you have a good, and I would mark that on there. Then, and on the artwork, use a pastel pencil, because otherwise you can't rub it off. Graphite might not work so well. And then I have it marked already, so it's right there. And that is the half. Then all you have to do is measure from here. I've marked it off at the 1/4 inch. Okay, so that we know. And it's going to be a 1/4 inch all around, except for the bottom, which is a tiny bit bigger, which is what we want. Okay. So line it up. Okay, so you can see all our margins are exactly right, and the bottom is a bit bigger. So now the next thing you do is you glue your matte medium, which we can do. Now, one of the things that's important is that you prepare your paper. This is a fairly tough paper, and you probably don't have to worry too much about it, but a thin paper is going to buckle on you. So prepare it first with the medium, and we're going to do that right now. I've put some packing paper on my light table just to control the mess. This won't show because it's a matte finish, but none of your colors will run if you're working with it. Only takes a few minutes to dry. Just get it to the point where you can't see any of the brush strokes. You'll be varnishing on top later, so if there's any little streaks showing, that will be taken care of. So I'm just letting the other piece dry, and we are going to put a fair amount of our matte medium on here, and I'm just going to go right to the edges, it doesn't matter. Don't want any bubbles or any bits of things that are flying around in the air. And work fairly quickly, because this does dry fairly quickly. And then just set this aside for a minute. Oh, see, I missed a spot there. Okay. And then turn it over. So we're just going to apply matte medium to the other side. Again, smooth it out. We don't want any bubbles or creatures. And see, it'll buckle a little bit, so that's why you need to put some matte medium on the surface too. And why the board is such a good thing. Okay. And even though we have all this glue on the back, there'll be spots that might not have anything on it. Especially the corners. They're always a problem. Okay, so clean up any messes. Put our board back, and we have all our measurements. Everything should line up properly. Okay, here we go. We're putting it down, just lining everything up. And I have a little mark on the side too for and just adjusting a tiny bit. So I want to give it a little bit more space on the bottom. And there we go. I'm doing a bone folder, and if there's any corners sticking up, what you can do is take a little piece of paper and you just slide it under there. That one's good. I think it's all pretty good. Sometimes corners give you trouble, and that's a good way to get the glue back on. So there we are. And now I'm going to wait for all this to dry. We'll take the mark off. I'm going to repaint over it anyway. And then I will probably match this color. And then we'll put the hardware on the back. And then we will put the final varnish on. So it's quite a process. You know, you have to... you should probably put an isolation coat. I've got... golden, I think for something like this with paper, if a conservator tried to, say, take that first layer off, I think they'd have trouble because it is paper. So, I mean, it will be plasticized paper because you've put all these layers on. But still, so you probably don't need to go to the trouble of putting an isolation coat, but you could, right? So better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, so, and it's nice and flat. You could take a roller to it as well, just to make sure there are no air bubbles. Let it dry overnight before you add the final varnish, because it's a wet medium and your work might buckle a little bit. Don't worry, it will go down again. But. And then you have a nice little frame around your work. So that's another way of doing your artwork. And the final piece is pretty straightforward. This one is just the matte medium on top and underneath, of course, glued to the surface there. And don't forget your signature. And I've another little trick for the signature. I have a permanent pen, micron. That's the wrong one. And this is 0.08, and then just do your signature on there. And what I do is just to make sure that it doesn't smear on you, is to dab a little matte medium on there. And just dab it, like so. Don't rub it, then it might, you know, go awry. But just dab it, and that protects the signature, and then you can put your layer of matte medium on there. And then, of course, your final coat of varnish. So that's the process. We're going to take an interlude, and then Josh and I will show you how to do the hardware on the back. I wanted to show you this piece. We just have to put some hanging hardware on it, and I have to do the final varnish on it. So this was so much fun. It's one of our gel plate prints, and it's in an upcoming video. Well, it won't be upcoming because I think this is after. So that will be first, okay. All right, so we're going to do this one for our hanger. And what you can do just to help yourself is to measure from the top, and I think 2 inches a bit much, so for a little piece probably an inch will do. So we'll mark it as an inch right here, and then you can mark it on the board. So give yourself these little, I guess you call them jigs, little handy. No, doesn't matter if you put pencil on the back. So we have our little hangers, and we're just going to place them. All right, here's an inch down and an inch in, and then you just put your hardware on there. Wherever the center of that is, line it up. Okay, so then, and then all you need, this is elasticized or plasticized, not elasticized, plasticized wire. So you won't need a lot, maybe the length of the, and then you just cut it. Good pair of scissors will cut that. Make sure it's not your best scissors. Okay, so Josh is going to put the glue on these. He's better off at handling glue guns than me. So we are using some Mastercraft glue sticks. They're especially heavy-duty ones, and they will fix the little hangers to the back of the artwork and to the board.
And we've got our trusty glue gun here, and a scraper.
So I'm showing the little hangers that we're using, and they just generally they just use a screw, but because the board is so thin we can't use any screws, so we're going to use some the glue sticks, and Josh will demonstrate how that's done.
Okay, we're going to try this a couple different ways and see which works the best. First I'm going to apply the glue directly to the hanger, and we'll stick it on. It's not working so good, is it? Okay, well let's get this stuck on anyway before the glue dries or cools. Scraper to get the excess off. Okay, we'll deal with that mess later. Second one, we'll put the bead of glue directly to the board. Seems a safer way to do it. Stick it down. Careful not to touch the glue because it sticks pretty badly and it's hot. There we go, squeeze the excess off, and Bob's your uncle.
So I've got to put the wire on the little hangers, and then I just loop it through, twist it on, and pull it tight against the hanger. And then keep doing that and pull it really tight. There we go. Some people put knots in at that point. I don't usually, because the wire is pretty stiff, it's not going to go anywhere. And And also, if you need to redo it, then it's easier. If you have to undo a knot, it's really a pain. So that's why I don't knot it there. And see how I'm pushing the different little loops right close to the hanger, so it looks really neat and tidy. There you go. Okay, so I'm just going to clip off that little end. And you want to make it look nice and neat. There we go. And there you have it. And that will hang nicely. And they can frame it, of course, if they want. But this is now display ready. You could hang it on the wall. It's all, you know, properly treated. There'll be, you know, the matte medium on first, and then, of course, the layers of the varnish. So, well, there you have it. This is now my third try. This is the way to mount your gel plate prints onto boards, and the whole treatment of how to varnish, how to mount them, and of course how to put the hardware on and the wire. And it's ready to go into an exhibition. So thank you so much again for joining us. It's been so much fun, and as usual. So, you know, it's the tough times right now, and you should have some fun with artwork and to forget about all this nasty stuff that's happening out there. Actually, we had the smoke finally cleared. We've had a few more days of that, so thankfully, maybe the weather's shifting or something. Anyway, so take care of yourselves and your families. Be kind to one another. Bye for now.